Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me in.
Yeah. Go and play that. Take you down, I'ma say that. Mine need me a couple dollars. Telling you now this payback. So I take that. Ask him now, we'll save that.
Well, you're very welcome to the Steel City of Sheffield. This is our studio now, and of course Sheffield has been our home for the last 7 weeks. 67 fights, a couple of area title fights, a couple of English title fights and 2 European title fights as well. That doesn't even tell a tiny bit of the story. What a 7 weeks it has been.
3, 2, 1.
Well, of course, the 7 weeks, they have been fantastic. And a fella that's been there every step of the way, I've been delighted to be there. I know you have as well, Glenn. It's been incredible, hasn't it?
It's been wonderful. It's a great platform. The setting has been surreal. You know, for the most part, the weather's been good. You know, and the boys have all gone up there, and the girls gone up and performed and put a great show on. We've seen a bit of everything. You know, from our journeymen that we see week in, week out, to our up-and-coming fighters, our novices, our debutants. It's brilliant. Really, really love it.
The Fightzone arena was quite special, wasn't it? I mean, and we all warmed into it, and it was kind of real, was a home from home for a while, and had a bit of a festival atmosphere to it. But of course, all good things have to come to an end. But that arena, that little arena that was so special, may have gone. But Fightzone is on the road, and there's so many things to look forward to. So let's have a look at where we're going to be going, what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks and months as well on Fightzone, because it goes on and on and on the journey, of course, doesn't it?
Stop that. I hear 'em chat from the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear 'em chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch man, please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees, I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the.
So here we have it. Look at this, Glenn. I mean, again, there's a special show that's coming from Latvia next week, and then we're on the road. We've been looking forward to getting on the road anyway, haven't we, to get to Scotland as well, which will be a very lively 2,500 crowd at the new Douglas Stadium in Hamilton. And then London, Oldham, back to Sheffield, Ponds Forge Arena. Been some fantastic nights there already, haven't there? The Fight Academy and other world titles. It's got it all going on. Then Leicester. What's your pick, Glenn?
You know what? I love being on the road. That's what I've done, you know, my whole life, being on the road with the fights. And it's great that we're going to see talent from all different parts of the country and Scotland. You know, we're going to see the best of talent, and that's what's great about this platform. Is, you know, it's inclusive. It's involving all the fighters, and that's why the fighters love it, and that's why you get so many world champs, you know, just coming in the audience, just coming to watch it, because the concept of it, it's for everybody, and that's what's great.
As you say, it's been a wide range in terms of looking at prospects, looking at people returning, and one person that did return, again, he's got an interesting backstory. We knew about him already, of course, but Cash Ali. I know Dennis Hobson's got great hopes for Cash. He came back and he had an IBF heavyweight title fight against Thomas Salek from the Czech Republic, and again, well, Cash did not disappoint.
Come on.
this IBF European heavyweight title contest. Cash Ali, now based in Rotherham, coached by Richard Towers himself, a handy heavyweight. What can he show us tonight against Thomas Salak from the Czech Republic? Cash Ali. This tonight, his 20th fight, 18 wins, 1 solitary defeat. That, of course, the disqualification for fighting David Price on that infamous night at the Liverpool Echo Arena.
I think he's going to be tested, just judging by this opening round. Salak just ponders forward, doesn't he? Just keeps coming forward, looking to push out a decent enough jab, though, but he's very upright and very easy to hit as Cash Ali just rounds home with 3 good solid jabs. Nice uppercut there from Ali, and then just does a little move.
Landed a big right hand as well, Ali. So a couple of eye-catching uppercuts in that round for Ali.
Some nice punches from Ali.
Well, certainly the uppercut's been something he's worked on. It's been the standout shot for him so far in these early stages of this scheduled 10-rounder. Again, though, the uppercut, great success with it. And again.
Timing's very good, isn't it? He's landed him coming in and damaged his nose.
Badly stood him up. Salak's nose has gone there. There's blood everywhere. That's real damage to the nose. And that's great psychologically for Cash Ali.
Well, he needs, if he can land again, he's going to...
Oh, and this is excellent work now, and Salak's in trouble. The referee, Howard Foster's having a look at this. He's taken some flush now, and that uppercut still doing great things for Ali. And the uppercut puts him down. Well, he's had fantastic success throughout the early stages of this fight. He just can't miss with the uppercut, and look at the face of Salak now. That nose is all over the place.
Yeah, and I think just judging by his body language, he doesn't like this.
It's just from the corner work on this occasion. Ali gets the jab working again.
Very impressed with that jab of Ali's. So he needs to just give himself a bit of room.
Oh, the uppercut again, and Salak, well, it's a weary tumble to the canvas. The uppercut again, just proving superb from Cash Ali, and Howard Foster has seen enough. The eyes tell the tale. Salak didn't want any more. He was a beaten man. The nose damage, now the eye damage, the uppercut that just could not miss. And Cash Ali, a much improved Cash Ali, has made something of a statement with a very impressive stoppage of the tough and rugged Thomas Salak.
He's crowned the new IBF European Heavyweight Champion this evening, Cash Ali!
Well, delighted to say we're joined by Cash's promoter, Dennis Hobson. Dennis of Fight Academy, of Fightzone as well, of course. And you've always believed in Cash. I mean, he had that night against David Price that everybody knows about, the biting incident. He's come back. He's been out on one of your shows before, but you were always excited that he could get back to levels. And he proved on that night as well. He's added to his game. Again, the uppercut, as we listening to commentary there, when we watched it on the night, he'd worked on it and he couldn't miss.
No, I think the fella, Tom Salak, had come to win as well. I'd seen him down in the gym the morning of the fight, so the kid had come. We were very ambitious because it's quite prestigious, obviously, getting an IBF European title. So obviously it can move you on to bigger and better things, and obviously some big paydays. So obviously we haven't put him in with just a kid who will come for a payday. But going back to the controversy of Cash Ali, all that Cash Ali was known for were biting David Price. So then he gets together with Richard Towers, and we had obviously a few heart-to-hearts on how we want to progress his career, and he's just totally turned his career around, and people all of a sudden have forgot about the David Price fight, and And that was always my aim. I thought we need to get him in with a decent-sized fight. We want to have a look at him, get him used to the living as a proper professional and training as a proper professional. That's what Rich has taught him and worked on his psyche as well. And he's a totally different fighter, technically as well as mentally. So, like you said, I've always believed in him. I love the kid. He's got a great attitude. He's a role model outside the ring. And I'm not saying it was unfair, the label that he'd had on him, because obviously he committed a foul. But and if you look at that fight, going back, that's where I saw the talent in him, because it got in a position where he could have beat David Price. But you look at some of the shots like you just picked out, the uppercut, he perfected it, and like Glenn said, his timing with perfection. So
look how focused he is in there and how determined he is. And I think he has got a different attitude now. You know, I think if you look at that jab that he used, fabulous. You know, he's a big man. He's strong. He's got the attributes. He's got the variety. You know, he could go a long way. And you know, it's wide open. There's some big fights out there to be part of that. So it was exciting to see him come back with a potential banana skin, because, you know, that could have been a tough fight for him. That could have been hard, but he handled it perfectly.
What's the plan, Dan?
Well, I mean, just leading on from what Glenn's just said, I think Glenn will tell you better than anybody. You know, if you've got a great team around you and you've got that belief, because this game it can be very disillusioning. You know, if you haven't got the right team around you, and then you get a bit of a slip up if you like, in a fight, you get a loss. Now, if you're not with the right team, it's not a learner. You're pushed to the back of the queue. But thankfully, we've got this platform, and I've always been like that. You know, the fighters what I've had, who's come off losses, and I've managed to manoeuvre them to world titles. My only regret is that I didn't manage this fella.
Mine too.
And it's too, because his stay at the top would have been a lot longer, I'm sure, and I've loved the journey working with somebody like Glenn. But fortunately, I've had that feeling, and there's one or two you're going to talk to in the studio today who I've got great hopes for, and I've got a connection already with him. And like you say, the Fightzone, what we've created in that arena. My secretary, I call her Miss Moneypenny, don't I? And I kept going to the car park, which doesn't sound right, taking my secretary to the car park every week, does it? But
you're in a car park every week anyway, putting shows on.
Well, that's what I said. I went to this car park, and it was a dirty little car park, and it's 50 yards from where I was born, actually. And how can we make this work? And like you said earlier, Dominic, it got a festival atmosphere. Yeah. And we got world champions turning up who just wanted to feel the atmosphere and be part of it. And so we've created something special, and I think the clamour is going to be next year. We've got to do a couple more outside shows, and I think that's a given, because it was such a special time, and propping the bar up after in the hotel after. I don't know who the last man standing, but I think his name ended with McGuinness. But no, is that just a rumour? Only twice. So
7 weeks. It was 7 weeks.
But I think, going on to the concept, there's a togetherness about what Fightzone created, and saying, you know, repeating what Glenn said. Our motto is everybody feeds from our table. It's not just about us. It's not just about, you know, like there's one or two main promoters out there, and it's usually just about them. Well, it isn't with us, and everybody can get a shot of glory from day zero, hopefully right to the top. And like I said earlier, there's going to be one or two kids who I'm going to hopefully help manoeuvre all the way to the pinnacle.
And the one thing that we know about you, Dennis, in your history with the fighters that you had, is that you can get them opportunities. You know, you're well respected. You know the people in the business. So, you know, fighters that come here are going to be attracted to the whole concept, and they're going to be attracted to the opportunities that they'll get.
So if you were 25 years old, would you sign with me?
Of course I would.
Even if you didn't know me?
I might now.
Or are you just saying that?
I might now when I'm 35.
Yeah.
Go on, then, I'll sign you. Have you got
right. You can do the deal now. We can do the deal. But you just mentioned before a shot at glory, and of course we saw Cash Ali's shot at glory in that fight with Salak, and there were plenty more as well, because we've got a bit of a highlights reel now. Look at this.
You know, he's really going for the stoppage, which is great to see. He could have relaxed behind the jab and just, you know, look for, you know, the simple win, but he's not. He's looking to be exciting.
It's a heavy work now from Gars, and he's landing, and I think the referee's going to have a look at this, Darren Sargison.
I mean, he's really been pushed around, and these shots are taking a lot out of him. He's on unsteady legs.
And the referee's going to have a good look now. Surely this is going to be over. And the referee, he does step in.
Andy Brook reaches the count of 10. The winner by Fightzone, still undefeated, Ian Martel.
Well, of course, don't forget, subscribe. $4.99 a month, and you get, well, so much action as well. Shows live every single week. And again, you can see what value of money you're getting when some of the highlights you look at there. And of course, one of the men that we were looking at in action then was Ian Martel against Elvis Dubé, the normally very durable Elvis Dubé, and he took him out in fantastic fashion. And he was at it again at the Fightzone Arena a couple of weeks later.
SecondsOut, round 1.
Well, this scheduled for 8 rounds, but Ian Martel, wearing the black-grey with orange trim shorts, is usually in a bit of a hurry. He certainly was last time out against Elvis Dubé, getting the usually durable Dubé out there in the second round, and in against Eric Nazarian, whose record 28 wins, 23 defeats. He has 21 stoppages in his favour, though. Could suggest he's got some power. Calls himself Boom Boom, the 36-year-old, based in Bruges, originally from Tbilisi in Georgia. But Martel, well, he is very combat ready. An extensive background in MMA and in a hurry to make his mark in boxing. Calls himself the bad man, sinks one into the body, and it was the body shot, Glenn McCrory, that did the business against Dubé.
It was a good left hook to the body, and Dubé not one to get stopped a lot, as is Nazarian. So he could be rather durable. And you point out he must be able to punch. 21 KO wins in 28 wins. So he's not showing anything yet. Obviously giving away height and reach.
Oh, big left hook from Martel, and then the body shot. And is that low? Well, the referee Andy Brooks gonna have a look at that. I'm not sure whether it was or not. Martel certainly didn't think it was. Is that a way out maybe from Nazarian? He got the left hook first before that was sunk in around the band. Glenn, where did you see it?
I did. On first viewing, it didn't look low.
Well, as it is, he's ready to continue. Good shot through the guard from Martel.
He's got some decent variety, Martel. Looks strong, he looks in very good condition.
Just cuffing right hand there to the head of Nazarian, and Martel again is really going to work. And well, at the moment it's hard to see Nazarian getting a foothold in this, unless
Martel keeping it ranged, planting his feet and taking in some very solid punches from long range.
Oh, excellent shot. The uppercut and then the right hook to the body. And Nazarian is blowing heavily. I'm not sure he's going to get up.
No, he's not. It's all over. First round, Ian Martell in more of a hurry than last time.
From Norwich, England, Ian Martell.
Well, Ian Martell in fine action. He's always in a hurry to get the last bus home, isn't he? Ian Martell, he's fantastic. His finish has been great, obviously.
First bus home, not the last bus.
Yeah, you're probably right. But as it is, we're joined by his manager, Kevin Murray. And again, he's an exciting addition to the cruiserweight division, or is it the light heavy? I know he's spoken about both divisions, but certainly, again, looks the part as a cruiserweight. I mean, firstly, where do you see him?
I can rule that one out. There's a lot of people talking about this light heavyweight division. Ian Martell's not going to do light heavyweight. He's too big.
But he thinks he can.
He did, and we did try. We had a little look. He's diligent in his training. He's very good at all the diet, and you know he's well up on all that. So we let him have a little go. He got down to sort of mid-13s, and he was losing too much in the gym. His trainer was, you know, noticeably seeing a difference in him in sparring training. So we said, let's just roll line under that right away now. It's far too much of a gap from cruiser to light heavyweight. Yeah. Pull the plug on that, and he'll be a strong, big cruiserweight. So I can tell you now, he's definitely staying there.
And you watching him, Glenn, I mean, again, not so experienced as a boxer, but because of the background that he has, competing all over the world in MMA and kickboxing and all the rest of it, I mean, do you see that combat readiness, if you like, in him?
I do, and I see that maturity, and speaking to him a couple of weeks ago, you know, he's very keen to learn and ask questions, and you know, and that's good, you know, because he's 30. Yeah. So he's mature. He's been around the fight game a lot, but you know, he's still got the kind of head on him to listen. So I think he's good. He's intense. I think I wouldn't expect it to be long before he's kind of let off the leash with you know, undefeated fighters himself, because I think he'll look better when he's got more of a challenge.
He will. He's already remarked to me that he wants to step up in opposition. We actually brought Eric over. We knew how Eric was durable, and we thought we'd get a few more rounds out of him. I think it was the night before in the hotel. I know Eric sort of quite well, and he came up to me and he said, "Kevin, I'm going to beat your boy." He was up for it. I don't think you are, but good luck. And so I knew he was ready for it and he was up for it, but Ian just blew him away. The first shot, I know Eric complained that he thought it was below the belt, but I've studied it back and it wasn't.
It's on the band, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good shot. His nickname's a bad man. He's a bad man. He's a bad man. He's the nicest fella you'll ever meet. He's going to tell you around the hotel and in his company. As soon as it becomes boxing, he's really, really serious. He's really serious, and he's one that we've got real high hopes for.
So what do you want to do with him, and how quickly do you want to move him now then?
We've got two really exciting cruiserweights. So obviously Jack Massey is ahead of the game for all of them really. We're looking at Jack to sort of move on for world titles, and then Ian Martell's going to come on behind him. So learn from his experience and sort of watch what Jack's doing and sort of come in behind him. So we've got two incredibly exciting heavyweights. Jack will sort of be further up, and then Ian will come behind him, and sort of he'll watch what Jack does, learn from that, and come in behind him. Next stage now, probably get a little late rounder out again, hopefully get some more rounds in the tank for him, and then as soon as we've got that box ticked, he'll be straight in for a title, because he's ready for that. We put him forward for the English. He's already the Southern Area champion, so he's a title-ready fighter. It's just getting the right one for him and ticking all these boxes. Well,
we're going to be joined in our Fightzone studio by some of your other fellas tonight. But just a word before you leave the sofa about the show's coming up. I mean, you've been busy with the Fightzone Arena, let's face it, you were there every single week as well. Sure. But now you've got a show coming up in Oldham. What can you tell us? We've got some great shows coming up, and this is the whole beauty about Fightzone. Some of these guys now are going to get an opportunity to be showcased like we have had over the last few weeks, and I think one of the real things that Fightzone set out to do and has done over the last few weeks, we've created some stars. A few of those stars now will be put back out again in Oldham in their local patches, so their local fans can come and see them with the prestige and the glamour and the glitz that Fightzone brings. So it's just going to be great now to do that back in Oldham and have the local fans back cheering and screaming in what we would call a small hall with a big show production. Can't wait. Well, it is about being on the road, which is what we're all looking forward to doing as well, of course. But mention Jack Massey. Well, of course, just a couple of weeks ago, Jack Massey was in action, and again, it was very impressive when he took on the Frenchman Engin Karakaplan. So here we go with the main event. Jack Massey wearing the green shorts with the gold trim against Engin Karakaplan.
now based in France, originally from Turkey, wearing the black and blue. And an opportunity for Massey to get his hands on a belt. So important, the currency that gives a fighter. But prior to that, he'd been out of the ring for 4 years nearly, so he's got plenty of ground to make up, and Massey has hit it running so far. Good shots getting off there as well. Got to be careful, because there have been the odd bit of success from Karakaplan so far.
Karakaplan still coming forward. Walking into some 2 good punches there from Massey.
Oh, good right hand as well, just round the guard of Karakaplan, and Massey seemingly warming to the task here in the second round of this scheduled 10. Good, sharp, straight shots again from Massey. Good right hand, finds the target again. The cheers and shouts and jeers go up every time he does land the telling blow.
And he gets through better, Massey, when he puts combinations together. One shot's not enough, but when he does 2 and 3, the second and the third are connecting.
Good right hand again. It's Karakaplan, who is as game as they come, but
Karakaplan landed a good left hook in there.
There's a cut just above the eye, I think. Possibly just a little nick of the right eye of Massey.
Good. Good uppercut, left hook there, Dom. But it's a good fight. Karakaplan is playing his part in it.
Robert Rimmer was very animated in the corner between rounds there. I'm not sure he's entirely happy.
He didn't sound that happy, to be fair, though.
It is a good fight. It's building very nicely. Karakaplan has come here with real solid ambition.
That jab really steadied him in his tracks. And I think Robbie Rimmer has obviously said get that jab working a bit more, because he's starting to throw that out to better effect.
Well, Jack Massey, you know, technically a very schooled boxer, very good amateur. Won 2 junior ABAs and Tri-Nation Golds. He was part of the had trials with GB and was invited back for trials with GB, and now he's caught him on. The legs have completely wobbled of Karakaplan as Massey just stepped it up there. And Karakaplan could be in a bit of bother here. He's not going to make it, and that is an impressive stoppage from Jack Massey. Warm to his task, and then let those hands go.
Leaving the ring as the new IBF European Cruiserweight Champion from Phoenix, Manchester, Jack One Smack Massey!
And now, well, we have the IBF European Cruiserweight Champion and his trainer Robert Rimmer on the Fightzone sofa, and I'm sure you've watched it back a couple of times, Jack.
You know, that's the first time I watched it
really?
back. Yeah.
You're kidding me?
I was proper engrossed then watching it.
So, your snap
time,
judgment then of your performance as it's the first time you've looked back at it?
Yeah, it was good. Good to watch. Good to watch.
Happy with everything?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
It was a great night in Sheffield. Again, after everybody's had so much frustration, I suppose, in terms of the pandemic and everything else. Again, you look back at that with the crowd there and everything else. It must have been an incredible experience.
Yeah, I think the crowd, obviously the title as well, and getting a fight, but having the crowd there was different. You know, my fight previous to that there was no crowd, and it kind of didn't feel right. It didn't feel like he was in a fight. But yeah, with the crowds back, it was amazing.
And he was a game operator, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, 100%. He come for the win. He come to take that title. So you know, we had to be on our game, and you know, we got him out there in the 4th round.
Now, yeah, you mentioned the 4th round because again we were talking about it in commentary and laughing about it a bit as well, because in between the 3rd and 4th rounds, Robert was lively.
Bit vocal.
I think he's a little bit lively. I think we can kind of catch a little bit of Rob in action. No, come on, language, Rob, first and foremost. But I mean, what were you saying to him in there?
I didn't have a clue with that mask on. I could just tell he was angry.
He was just shouting, that was it. You just knew the message was.
I mean, Jack's got...
It worked anyway, so I went out on the 4th.
Listen, you know what I mean? All fighters have got attributes and whatever else, but listen, he's got an unbelievable jab. You know, he's 6'4". You know, this kid was tough. He was only ever going to box on the inside and push Jack back. So I said to him, look, you're going to make this an easy night's work or an hard night's work. It's all down to you. And first, I wanted him to establish the jab from round 1. And I just felt like, you know, he started a little bit slow, a little bit rugged. And once he started to land that jab, I wanted him to start putting shots together in 2s and 3s, as Glenn said. And I think that's where he was going to get success. I knew that this fight wasn't going to go the full distance. You know, he carries world-class power. So once, you know, he started to get that jab going, push him back, and let his hands go, and it had only been a matter of time when I was screaming and screaming straight down the pipe with the right hand.
Sleep a little bit.
But he won't go sleep again early on. But yeah, sometimes, you know, fighters need that little bit of a kick up the arse kind of thing. And the main thing is he responded well, and we got the knockout.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a fortnight ago, but have you had a break, and what's the plan for yourself? Or straight
I've
back
had a
on
break, back in the gym next week. I went to Como and Missus the week after and just had a nice chill down there. But back in the gym next week, ticking over and ready for what's to come.
And you had a busy time, didn't you? How many fighters? 5 fighters, 5 wins, I think you had in the Fightzone arena.
Yeah, lucky, 5 fights. 5 wins. I think 3 stoppages, 2 titles. So, listen, I couldn't be any more happier. Like I said, this platform has been, you know, such a benefit for not only our gym and our fighters, but you know, they've propelled in a matter of weeks. The profiles have all gone through the roof. It's just, you know, such an amazing thing that, you know, to be on. And like I said, now with Jack, he's leading the fort in our gym and here on Fightzone as well, amongst Cash Ali and a few other top lads. And you know, the stable's growing and the talent that's coming through is amazing. So it's nothing but exciting times ahead. And I think everyone who's getting behind it, you know, he's doing the right thing and pushing it. And I think you're going to see some real big things coming in the future.
We heard before Kev Marie talk about the stable, obviously with Ian Martell and yourself. I mean, again, without trying to stir anything up here, obviously, but what would you fancy next? Or again, I know you're in a hurry for titles and all the rest of it.
Probably look for another title next. Yeah, maybe like a WBO version, something like that, or see what's there, see what the team, you know, have got planned, and go from there really. But yeah, Ian Martell, it could be a fight. What happens down the line in the future, you never know. So.
Yeah. Well, again, you're at different levels. It's pretty clear. You're at different stages of your career.
If the fight makes sense, then you go for it, don't you? That's what boxing's all about.
Well, thank you very much indeed for joining us, fellas. But of course, from the bigger men, we can now move down to the smaller fellas, because on the very first Fightzone show, we had an English lightweight title fight, and it did not disappoint. Myron Mills against Lucas Bagenol.
Good work from Mills. Yeah, that was good. Halfway through the round, just came to life a little bit, but then Bagenol comes back at him.
I should say. What a story he has been, and what a story is unfolding in front of us here on Fightzone.
And this is the sort of action we're going to get week in, week out on Fightzone. Good domestic dust-ups.
Bagenol really letting the hands go. Mills is back again.
Yeah, he's strong, isn't he? Determined in there. Walking onto a few now and again, though. Nice right hand from Mills. Getting some good countering from him. He's getting his range, his timing's coming right.
Oh, big left hand, and Bagenol took that, but Well, he can't take too many more flushes. Endured some punishing blows to head and body, and there's another big right hand from Mills.
Yeah.
And now Ballingall looks a little bit scrambled.
It's going one way, then the other.
Oh, big uppercut there, big uppercut from Mills, and again the legs just stiffen a bit from Ballingall. And maybe, well, Mills knows he has a cut now as well. He just might want to step this up a little bit. He's again, just on the front foot.
Yep.
Pushing Mills back, forcing the action, forcing the tempo. And
so Mills gets off with some good punches. You know, when Ballingall comes at him, but Ballingall's just not giving him the room most of the time to get those punches off.
Well, both men must be really feeling it now. It's been set at such a great pace, this fight as well, from the first bell. And you can hear the appreciation from the crowd.
And momentum going there. So he was just waiting for that left hand as Ballingall come in. Ballingall didn't give him the room to land correctly. Yeah, just leaning on Mills a bit too much without throwing punches, Ballingall. Oh,
big
shot.
right hand from Mills as Ballingall on his way in. Who can make the final impression for this English lightweight belt and a chance to go on for British honours? Ballingall still just chasing Mills around the ring, who just gets in a lovely uppercut again. Well, the last knockings, who will have the last say in what's been a pulsating 10-round contest for the English lightweight belt? And there it goes. Well, great respect between the pair.
Both judges, Michael Alexander, Darren Sargentson, see the contest 96-95. All for the winner. And still, the English lightweight champion, Myron Skills Mills.
Well, that was a fantastic fight, and of course we love creating storylines here on Fight Zone because Myron Mills getting the arm raised there. So what next for him? Well, Fight Zone may have the answer because a few weeks later, of course, there was a final eliminator in the same division, and this is what happened when Hamed Gaz met Liam Shinkwin.
Seconds out, round one.
So here we go, the main event on Fight Zone. This English title eliminator in the lightweight division. Hamed Gaz from Bradford. Born in Afghanistan against Liam Shinkwin from Bushy Heath, Hertfordshire, who's well had an interesting kind of stop-start career.
Shinkwin, you know, happy to be on the back foot, but he's getting caught as he's backing up from the jab.
Good left hand again from Gaz. Every shot that lands, the roars go up from the Bradford support. Again, lets his hands go. Good work to head and body then from Gaz.
You know, he's walking forward, he's taking his time, there's patience there, he's looking to put his shots together in combinations. And this is also, you know, it's a big step back for Shinkwin coming into it against an undefeated fighter, you know, who's full of fire after so long out.
Lucas Ballingall, he wants him, and he will very probably get him should he come through tonight. Of course, this is an English title eliminated, and that's a good right hand from Gaz, and he's got Shinkwin potentially, I think, in a bit of bother here. Yeah. Shinkwin fights back, but this is a heavy work now from Gaz, and he's landing, and I think the referee's going to have a look at this, Darren Sargentson. Yeah. Shinkwin looks a little bit discombobulated here. Good, clever work from Gaz, sinks him into the body.
Yeah, I don't think this will go much longer if he keeps taking the shots that he's taking. Some heavy right hands getting through. Bravely, Shinkwin is trying to fight back, but he's going to take much more than this. Well, Sargentson, the referee, Darren Sargentson looking on.
And another one lands cleanly, and again, and Shinkwin is just eased back, and again the referee's having a look at this. Oh, the gum shield is out. Well, there's still plenty of time in this round for Gaz to try and make a real statement in the third round of this scheduled 10.
Well, Shinkman needs all his experience, because the fight has been punched out of him by Gaz at this moment, who's looking impressive.
Well, Shinkman is still trying to fight back here. It's brave, but he's just moving backwards now. He's on shaky ground. His legs are going to betray him, it looks like, and there isn't a great deal coming back here. He just flick out the jab. In fairness, he's just giving the referee something to think about. When Gaz is right on top, then Shinkman has thrown something back, but he's being bullied in there.
Yeah, he's been hurt. I mean, he's really been pushed around, and these shots are taking a lot out of him. He's on unsteady legs.
And the referee's going to have a good look now. Surely this is going to be over, because Shinkman is all over the place, and the referee, he does step in, and that is a good stoppage from Darren Sargison. That Liam Shinkman was on unsteady legs. He was taking far too many clean shots. It was an excellent finish, an excellent performance from Gaz.
Well, it was an excellent night for Hamed Gaz, and would you believe it, he's joined us on the Fight Zone sofa. So you've just looked back on it there again, and again, it was a good night for you. Liam Shinkman, we knew, had bags of experience, but he had been a little bit inactive, as everyone had, but he'd had that time out of the ring prior to returning again, then being stopped by the pandemic. You look fresh, you look strong. You look at it now, how do you feel looking back at it?
I feel great. Felt great, to be honest. I watched the fight about 10 times over and over again, but it was a great feeling to get back in the ring and do what I do best. You know, obviously the pandemic and everything just held me back. But yeah, it felt great to be back in there and to win. Yeah, in front of the crowd and everything. Yeah, it felt really good.
It was a great night. I think, did you call him a bully, or was it me? But, you know, he was in the nice guy out of the ring, but he was horrible on the night.
It was really good intensity. He just kept that work rate on, and Shinkman, you know, never got into the fight, and you know, it was good to see a stoppage and good to see you gaining experience and, you know, definitely on the verge of titles now.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, definitely.
Is that the idea? Because we saw obviously Mills and Balogun. Now he's the English lightweight champ, Myron Mills. I mean, is that what you fancy next?
Whatever's out there for me, obviously, whatever my manager thinks is the right fight for me, I'll take that on. But yeah, Myron's hopefully, if he wants to get it on next, then why not? You know, I'm ready for it. You know, I think it'll be a great fight for the fans. It'll be a great fight. But yeah, it'd be great to fight him and hopefully, not hopefully, but hopefully, you know, win the title and be the English champion. Yeah.
We've seen a lot of the Sheffield fighters, obviously from Bradford. There's a lot of the lads in Leeds. You've got a good stable. Tell us about the camp that you're training in all the time and how things are buzzing there at the minute.
The camp's absolutely great. We've got we had a few other lads, you know, from my gym, Fizzy and Craig, that box on the same show. But the training camp's been great. We've been pushing each other, you know, to just go to that next level and push. Keep on pushing, and yeah, it's been absolutely great, and the fans has been, you know, the fans has been. I couldn't have even asked for more. You know, traveling from Bradford to Sheffield, you know, I'm just grateful for, you know, to have them fans behind me to travel. So yeah.
Yeah, you've got
really
Bradford
happy
behind you now, haven't you? I mean, everyone knows your story about coming from Afghanistan, but you're very much fighting for the city of Bradford and trying to put it on the boxing map. I mean, recent history, of course, you know, Junior Witter, and there's been a lot of talent in the area, hasn't there, over the years? But you want to be the man now. Yeah,
definitely. I used to, growing up, I used to watch Junior Witter and people like. Yeah, so I used to watch Junior Witter, but yeah, I want to be the next thing coming out of Bradford. You know, I want to put Bradford on the map and hopefully one day be a world champion. You know, coming out of Bradford.
I know you were impressed, weren't you?
I was impressed, but I mean, what's great about the platform is, you know, there's a platform where fighters can get regular work, and you know, to learn and to get the experience that you want. You want to be fighting to be out as often as you can. You know, and that's because it's probably every week we're somewhere around the country. Fighters like Gaz are going to get the chance to progress and to move on all the way through, you know, titles, British, Commonwealth, European, world.
Well, I'm sure we'll see a title fight on Fight Zone very, very soon. Well done on the night and all the best going forward. It won't be long before we see you, I'm sure. But of course, well, moving on and joining us, if you are joining us live on Seconds Out, it's a pleasure having your company. Of course, you know how to subscribe to Fightzone, just $4.99 a month, and you get all this action that you're enjoying tonight and so much more to come because we are on the road. But just wanted to get a little feel from what it's been like outside of our Fightzone bubble, if you like, because some of the reporters that have been following the action every single week, what do they think of it? So a little earlier, I caught up with Seconds Out reporter Joe Lee.
Right, you clock that. We'll crack on then, Joe, if you're happy, are you?
Yep.
Well, just get your thoughts, really, because you've been at every single Fightzone Arena show. And from the outside looking in, what are your perceptions, really, of Fightzone, of the Fightzone Arena, and the kind of the level of quality that you've been witnessing each week?
I think it's been fantastic. It's been very innovative, but you sort of have to look at the perspective of fans who weren't aware of it before they kicked off. There's been many of them in Sheffield, and yeah, as you just said, I've been lucky enough to go to them. But for the audience that didn't necessarily know before, they might have assumed, and some of the boxers even assumed, that it was the small hall shows. But I could name boxers, not enough to count on one hand, how many have said this is not what I expected, nothing like what I expected. So when you think of it as a small hall show, then you really are wrong. And I think that was proven for me from the first week, because the first week went down really well, although it was raining, and then the rest, with the weather being really nice, you had Cash Ali, you had a couple of European belts on the line, and you had a great fight with Matt Windle and Neil McCubbin as well. The standard is brilliant, but I think the most important thing for me was the fact that people at Fightzone, Dennis Hobson obviously, and Steve Crump being the main two, they really made a new statement to a lot of people, because like I say, it really wasn't a small show, and I think that was the perception potentially for a lot of people going into it, and coming out of it, I don't think many people believe that anymore.
From a kind of reporter's point of view, you go to a lot of shows, and it can be different in terms of access and everything else. Did you get what you need? I mean, how did it work from your point of view? You know, from Seconds Out point of view, you need to get content. So did it work on that level?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, there was the press office, the press room, where you would do the interviews first, and then straight away they'd come over to us. It wasn't like you had to go to the change rooms and cause a bit of a fuss trying to get the interviews. It was very easy. It was very simple. And there was good room. There was chairs. Sometimes when you go to events, you find your own interviews. You find a plug if you're lucky, and you try and upload it, but there was space for us to do our work, which is, I think, for what we do, timing's very important, and we were helped out a lot by that. So it was good.
And again, we're keen, obviously, to get any kind of feedback. It's good to hear that you're getting what you need when you're on the ground. Now, the feedback you've been getting at Seconds Out from punters, from people that have been watching the shows, and again, because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing, but make sure it gets better each time. So, what kind of feedback you've been getting?
Well, the fact that we're showing, it's usually the first 4 fights, I believe, on our channel really helps us, but it also helps people see the shows, and it's very cheap to buy on Fightzone. Obviously, it's a monthly subscription, which is the future. We see with DAZN now as well. Yeah. It's next up, and I think it's slowly making its way into mainstream boxing, and it's pretty much here now. So it helps that we have stuff on the undercard as well. But the fact that it's so easily accessible, it's great for YouTubers and also for boxing fans.
So it's on the road now. The Fightzone Arena is no more. It was great for 7 weeks, but now it's about taking the show with loads of other promoters getting involved, fighters up and down the country, you know, Malta as well, overseas, Malta, Scotland, everything else. So you're going to be part of that as well? Is it something you want to keep in touch with? And do you think that the press team, if you like, they're going to be following us around, will grow?
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, it's like a little, a small kind of family, but over the 7 weeks at Sheffield, you go and get to know the people there, and also the fighters as well. For example, you've got Dave Allen's coming soon, but he's been doing commentary, and I know you've enjoyed that as well. He's really funny, and I know he's got a lot of his fighters on.
Well, you don't know what he's going to say. I'll give you that. You don't know what he's going to come out with next.
Exactly. And I think it's all about building that small family, so then you can grow out and do bigger and better things. And I think the first 7 shows in Sheffield was sort of not the foundations, because Dennis Hobson's been doing this for years and years now, but it was like a new era of Dennis Hobson's show. People would have associated it with Small Hall, but in my opinion, I think it proved that it wasn't after what he did, it being outdoors and breaking sort of a lot of barriers. And I think what we're doing in going to Malta and Scotland in 2 days, I think that's a bit crazy, but it shows the passion that a lot of people at Fightzone, Fight Academy have, really.
Well, it's good to keep the press happy. They're enjoying the ride, of course, with the Fightzone arena, but it's on the road now, as we were talking about there. But as we were also mentioning there, and Joe alluded to, some of the quality of the fights has been absolutely exceptional. Have a look at this. Well, if you want more of that, you know what to do. $4.99 a month, you get all that action, 4 live shows, sometimes 5. That's what we had in June, and it's going to keep on coming as well because we're on the road. It's going to get better and better on Fightzone. So make sure, for less than a pint, depends where you drink, of course, that's all it's going to cost you to get a month of action. But, of course, one of the fights on that highlights reel involved a fella called Matt Windle, also famous for being a poet. He joins us now on the sofa. That was some tear-up, that light flyweight Commonwealth title fight against Neil McCubbin that everyone was looking at that thinking, well, if this gels, if the styles meet as we think they might, this could be something very special. You could be Fight of the Year.
I had a feeling before the fight that it would, the way that we were both being respectful in the build-up. I thought he's going to come at me like a ton of bricks. I'm not falling for any of the niceties. So, yeah, I did have a feeling that it was going to be a little bit like that. And I know, obviously, how I fight and how I try to impose myself in the ring. So, yeah, fortunately, I seem to have a good habit of gelling well with my opponents.
Well, that's every promoter's dream, basically, isn't it? But, you know, going into the fight, and again, this is a hot prospect from Scotland coming down with a great fan base. You've got a few defeats on your record because you've not been matched easy. Let's get that kind of straight. And then you've just put on a great show. And again, you could see at the end, it was a kind of mixture of, even when your hand was raised at the end, you knew it, but it had been such a great fight.
With some of the decisions I've had so far, especially in my Midland title fights, I knew it, but I didn't know it until my hand was in the air, you know, because I knew it in my last 2 fights and it never ended up happening either. So, yeah, I knew it, but your hand has to go in the air for it to be kind of cemented.
And you're watching it back now, and again in there, when he went down, that must have been a fantastic moment for you in a tight fight like that.
Yeah, well, what I love so much about that is because I'm predominantly a come-forward fighter, the instructions from trainers would be, you know, pushing back, get him on the back foot, and a come-forward fighter isn't the same on the back foot. And there I've managed to put him on the floor with my back to the ropes, so I show that I can be just as dangerous going backwards as I am when I'm coming forward.
You were one of the fortunate big lumps that gets all the attention. But, it just shows you the lighter weights as well, now that haven't traditionally had so much attention, but that's every reason to show fights like that, isn't it? With, light flyweights, flyweights, whatever.
Over the years, obviously, we've covered the game for many decades, and, more often than not, it's great to see the big men because, they've got their explosive power, but to see a fight, to see excitement, some of my best fights have been the little guys, Morales, Barrera, who put on a few sensational fights, but the first one especially. So no, you're always going to get the work rate, you're going to get the action, you're going to get the thrills and spills with the little guys. So it's I mean all the weights, all the way through, and that's Dennis is getting a good stable of fighters in lots of different weights. So we're going to be treated to some good action.
I think some of the smaller divisions, I'm sure you'll agree with me, Matt, I know we were talking before about this as well, they have been stealing the show. When you think of the lightweight division globally, I mean, we were talking about lightweights domestically before with Hamed and the likes of Myron Mills, but the lightweights globally, it's the best division in boxing now. You could easily say that. So again, more eyes now on the smaller divisions, and when you see the likes of how Anui can bang and people like that, again, there is a lot of explosive action to look forward to in the smaller divisions.
Absolutely, like you say, Anui and Donaire and Chocolatito, and there are so many people out there that I mean, what I love with Chocolatito, when Mayweather retired, Chocolatito was straight in then as the pound for pound #1, who was a flyweight, and took Mayweather's place. So the best, I think, all look like Glenn says, all across the weights. The best of the best. There's not anyone that's any better for any particular reason. It's just down to personal preference, really.
You're always going to juggle 2 careers as well. Of course, you are the young poet laureate.
I'm never going to earn enough from boxing to not juggle 2 careers.
I don't know, Fight Zone, Fight Zone's the future. You just stick with it. You don't know what's going to happen next. But in the meantime, you're inspiring young people and you're working in schools, you're going around and you completely... the work you do is fantastic out of the ring in terms of getting people into English and everything else, and using your poetry, which, again, you gave us an off-the-hook poem after you won that fight.
I don't know how, obviously, it's a poem of mine, but how I managed to remember it, because you got out and I was a bit, sort of dazed and everything's going on and you're buzzing and the adrenaline's running, and how I managed to remember it. But it was a nonsense poem that I did, so I think some of the words I genuinely made up on the spot as they came out of my mouth.
Oh, well, what do you want to happen next then in both careers, if you like?
I think with regards to the poetry, first off, just continue doing what I'm doing. I've had an opportunity put my way recently to work with people just coming out of prisons and young offenders and stuff through sports as well, so I'll be working with them, and that'll be great to do. And then from a boxing perspective, I want to get out as soon as possible. I mean, I'm the sort of fighter that just loves to fight. I'm not one that needs to have a fight and then have weeks out the gym to recover and then go again. I mean, I did that fight on the Friday. I had Saturday off and Sunday I was back in the gym. So I want to fight as regular as possible, getting into Continental or, one of those kind of titles to get a bit more of a world ranking. And then at these lightweight divisions, then you never know what opportunities may present themselves.
You've got to remember, Dennis took Jamie McDonnell and Stewie Hall, both little guys, to the pinnacle of world championships. So he's got the experience with the little men as well, and Clinton Woods, the big guys. He did the same there. So it's good. It's good that you're in a platform where you've got somebody that can take you to the very top.
Book some flights to Japan or Thailand or somewhere like that, and off we go.
As long as we're all coming for the ride, that's all good with us. That's all good with us. Now, of course, as we know, Fight Zone, it's about showcasing talent. Doesn't matter what weight division you're in. Doesn't matter if you've been matched hard previously. It doesn't matter if you've never had a fight. We've seen so many debutants, so many prospects, so many exciting talents to look forward to. Well, loads of prospects, loads of talents to keep an eye on, and we're joined by one fella who was featured in that video there that is definitely somebody to keep an eye on, because Jake Andrews joins us on the Fightzone sofa.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well,
Yeah.
it's an absolute pleasure, and I think you could have done about 15,000 tickets had you been allowed.
Mate, I know.
Because
Absolutely
incredible support you had there.
Incredible support. You know, they're all backing me, the Salford lot, so I'm really blessed, to be honest, to have that support around me. You know, at such a early stage in my career, you know, to have that support is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's a great place to make a debut, isn't it?
Of course, yeah, and it's an away show. Basically, you know, travelling all the way from Manchester and Salford and coming all the way up to Sheffield, you know, it's an away show, and to bring that many people and on that platform as well. Dennis has done an amazing job with it, you know, Kevin, Dennis, everyone involved in Fightzone has done an absolute amazing job with it. It's incredible.
Well, what was incredible as well was the ring walk. We always expected there to be something special. You didn't disappoint. There you go. I still think there's people that don't realise Dirty Old Town is about Salford.
It is about Salford.
I know. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
People don't realise it was written by Ewan McCall about Salford.
Yeah. And then people actually don't think it's about, or think it's having a bad word to say about Salford because it's in Dirty Old Town. But it's not. It's written about Salford for the Salford people. And, you know, and that's why we all get behind it, and that's why it's played at Salford Rugby Club, you know, Salford FC and everything like that. So, yeah, it's just a beautiful song to embrace, you know.
Yeah, it's a love letter to Salford.
It is.
And as you can see, your Salford people that were there in force as well, they all enjoyed it as well, all had a very good night. How did you enjoy it?
You know, I embraced every single moment of it. Like I said, you know, on that moment, in that ring, you don't know until you actually get in there. You know, that was Jake as a fighter, not Jake as a boxer. You know, I was a fight, basically. It wasn't, you know, I wasn't boxing to my full potential, you know, which...
What were the nerves like? Because obviously with the fans, that's great, but it also brings a lot of pressure that you have to perform for all these people that's,
of course,
that's
and
paid.
it's not just the fans, it was my family at home. You know, I had so much weight on my shoulders on that night. You know, with 18 months leading up to that moment, you know, missing out on my son being born, basically, because my eyes was in tunnel vision for that fight. You know, I was there when he was born, but, you know, your mind's elsewhere, and I feel guilty for that, you know, but these are the sacrifices that fighters need to make, you know, to become great and to go forward in life. You know, and people don't see the sacrifices that we need to make until it's time.
I think I said in commentary, he better be able to fight with a ring walk like that.
Yeah. And it was a fight. He'd come to win, Scott, that day.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit of a derby, wasn't it? He was originally from Stretford, Scott, as well. So.
Yeah.
So when you're getting in there, again, you know, Scott's been around a little bit. This was, I think, his 13th fight, and he knows his way around a bit. What was the plan?
The plan was to get the rounds in. That was the plan. It went to plan, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. You know, everything went to plan. I wanted to get the rounds in. I wanted to experience that moment, embrace that moment to my fullest potential, you know. And when all I wanted to do, and all I could wish I could change that fight, not that I want to change it, but what I wish would have happened is I would have boxed. You know, that was, like I said, Jake as a fighter. I am a fighting man, but that proves I can fight. I've got heart, I'm fit, but now it's time to see Jake as a boxer.
Right. So you're going to show your skills next time?
100%.
And sell 15,000 tickets.
And there we go. And that's what it's about, isn't it?
No pressure.
Getting the old herd behind me. And that's, as I call them, they're my herd, they're my family, you know. So,
well,
yeah.
It was an impressive debut. The whole thing was impressive. The performance, if you like, from the ring walk onwards, it was very, very impressive. So we look forward to it next time. But, of course, that was your debut, Jake, and there was another debutant very recently. It didn't quite go in according to plan. It wasn't their professional debut, but we did see Hannah Bagley in a ring, and there's plenty more to come from her. A little bit earlier, I caught up, had a chat with Hannah.
Well, Hannah, it's great to see you. And of course, we saw you at the Fightzone arena on more than one occasion, but you did get in the ring. You had some hurdles. You got in there in the end. Not quite the debut yet, but just kind of give us your experiences of Fightzone and having your exhibition with Hannah.
Well, to be honest, like at the time, before I got in the ring, it seemed like the end of the world. I'd been to these phenomenal setups, you know, week by week. I'd collected all the badges. Like for me, like it was just really special. And I was so excited to be a part of that and be on the actual, you know, the stage of it rather than behind the scenes for a change. And every week I've built up and it's one less week and I'm watching people go out. And, you know, they're all getting to live the dream and what I want to do. And then it comes to my time and basically I'm told, you're not going to be a part of this show. And I'm like, oh no. I was literally gutted. Through no fault of Fightzone, of course, but it didn't make that any easier. You know, it was very upsetting. However, they managed to salvage something for me, which, you know, money can't buy that experience what I got. Someone who's not even had their pro debut, sharing a ring with a former world champion and who will be challenging for a world title in the not so far future, and also headlining, you know, your female Fightzone show and stuff. So, you know, that sort of experience, to be honest, it actually worked out better for me because, like the commentary said, when I watched it back, I got a free go at it. I got a dress rehearsal. I tried to see the positive and everything, and to be honest, it was just as phenomenal. The experience and the feeling of the ring walk, it's just so special. So yeah, I loved it, start to finish, even with all the ups and downs.
And you were there before your big night, supporting the other girls like Stevie Levy, and you're talking about Hannah Rankin, who, of course, who stepped in for the exhibition. There is that kind of community feel about it. It certainly seemed that way anyway with Fightzone and with what was going on at the arena.
Definitely, like whenever I post anything on social media, people probably get bored of me because I say the same thing. It's like a Fightzone family. It's a little family. And obviously I was meant to come down to you guys today and I was dead excited just getting to see you all again and just spend time with you and be part of that little family again. But obviously with me sparring and stuff, early mornings, it's not really ideal. But yeah, I just think it's one big community, and once you're a part of it, like everyone wants to look after you and, you know, wants the best for you, and it's a nice feeling because you don't get that often in boxing.
No, well, you know, we do things differently now, don't we? And that's the way it's going to be going forward. But the thing is, as well, you mentioned your sparring there and your proper debut, if we could call it that. It's not far away now. So just give us a lowdown on how excited you are again to pull the gloves on with some serious anger next time, and how's it all going?
Well, to be honest, I had the most amazing 8-week camp running up to the official, not official debut, and then since then I've still had a really good camp. I've not been posting as much on social media because I've been so busy. We just threw ourselves in the deep end, like started sparring straight away. I maintained my weight easy. I'm still sitting at 67 kilos and I'm eating loads of food, so I'm really enjoying the camp. We've been sparring like a variety of styles, different shapes, sizes of boxers. So it's been quite good. I've still got a couple of spars to go. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. Like, but to be honest, it doesn't feel like my debut. It's weird. I've not got that feeling of the debut feeling. I feel like that's definitely took the first excitement out of it. And now I'm just really focused and I can't wait to just get in the ring and put on a real performance, because obviously when you're sharing the ring with an exhibition, one, I'm trying to be respectful, two, she's trying not to knock me out, and you know, we're trying our best not to put power in the punches. We were told we weren't allowed to fight on the inside, so obviously when we kept getting a bit live on the inside, the ref was coming in and being like, come on, chill out. It was very, to be honest, I think it was far harder to do an exhibition than it is sparring or fighting, for sure.
Well, we look forward to the debut. It's not far away now, so it'll all be very exciting.
Yeah, I really can't wait, honestly. And yeah, I just can't wait to be a part of it all again.
Brilliant. Thanks, Hannah. A stuff.
No worries. Thanks.
You have a good one.
Well, Hannah Bagley there, who's awaiting her second debut of sorts, well, a proper professional debut. She's going to be doing that as well at the new Douglas Park in Hamilton. And, well, that's not the only fight, of course, that we can look forward to, and not the only dates that we can look forward to. It's going to be very, very busy. So there we are. A show from Riga in Latvia next week. Then it is Hamilton. That will be a cracker. 2,500 inside the stadium. An open-air event. Scotland cannot wait to host Fightzone as well. Plenty of anticipation and some cracking names on that card. Then we move on down south on August the 7th. Oldham on the 21st. Back in Sheffield at the Ponds Forge. And then September the 11th with a Leicester show. And of course, if you want all that, it's $4.99 a month. That's all you've got to pay. And for that, you would get guaranteed action. You've already seen some of the highlights that we've had from the Fightzone Arena in Sheffield, but we're moving all around the country now. We will have all sorts of stories, tales, and fantastic action for you. That's all you have to do, fightzone.uk. You know what to do. The Fightzone app, it's there for everybody. And there for everybody is Dennis Hobson and Glenn McCrory, because these two like putting something back. And Dennis, you've had the 7 weeks in Sheffield. I know you've loved every minute of that. Now you're looking forward to life on the road, bringing the whole show to Scotland, the first major event in Scotland, if you like, and then all throughout England.
Yeah, I think when we set out on this new journey and with this new project, it wasn't just about me putting fights on in Sheffield. I've done that for years, and using that word, being inclusive, we got this vision, but you know, actually, when we sat in the hotel down the road from here, and different factions, they usually have their own little corner, but people were just joining in and sharing stories, and I think, like Kevin said earlier, there's been like we've bonded. I was just looking at some of the clips. I think we've got the best looking kids inside the ring and outside the ring. I'm including you in this, Glenn. I'm just looking. I don't think anybody can compete with us, but. The great thing is, and Robert Rumer is obviously a trendsetter. I've been looking at his trainers today. I want a pair, but I don't know what size shoe he takes. But I might call for them later. But I'm just so excited about what we've created, and you know, got people like Phil Smith who I haven't seen for ages, and I think everything's about time. And it sounds a bit cliche, Don, but I've known you a long time, and then we've said at some stage I'd love to work with you. And Glenn's been my pal for a long time. We were like brothers, really. He's like my older brother. But we've been looking to work together, but this has come together, and it's not just, I had a lot of the idea, but one of my dad's sayings, no man's an island, and I think that's what we created as regards that unity. Anna's been with us for 2 minutes, but she can't keep away from the setup, even though she weren't fighting. She drove over here without a boyfriend sometimes just to be part of it and get it. She loves the setup, so I'm looking forward to us going on the road now and creating, and like it's like a road show. We're going up to Scotland, and I think you know we're building bridges. I mean, Scotland's a hotbed of fighters, and I don't think they've had the coverage, and that's what we're bringing. And I'm so excited. This is like a major chapter in my boxing career, if you like, and like you say, I've been involved with some major fights. I've not been as excited as this since like Clinton Woods won my first world champion, or when I took Ricky and we broke America with Ricky. So this special moments, and this is a special moment, and this is a journey that we're fortunate to be on. And
of course, well, you need to get involved, and this is how you get involved with Fightzone. It's very, very simple, and it's very cheap, and it's ridiculous value. Fightzone, £4.99 a month, fightzone.uk, and you get all the action that we've been enjoying, obviously, from the Fightzone Arena. But as Dennis says, we're going on the road now, so that's all you have to do to subscribe. And I know, Glenn, let's face it, your broadcasting career goes back a long way now, and I know you're really enjoying this. Again, it's a totally new thing, and one that you're fully embracing.
Do you know what? I love it more than any of the others, because this is not just the big names. This is everybody. You know, this is, you know, there's a monopoly being broken now where, you know, I wasn't with the Mickey Duffs or your Frank Warrens, you know, so I had to do it the hard way. I had to go to America, and now Dennis is making it where he's coming to them, he's coming to Scotland, he's coming to Oldham, he's coming to London, and you're going to get the opportunity. You're going to get the opportunity to make your debut and get interviewed by you, nonetheless. You know what I mean?
What could be better?
There you go. Fightzone.
Well, and Matt Wendell has already got you in Japan and Hong Kong and Malaysia. You know, so it's all happening now, Dennis.
I love it, and like I say, we've got a great team. I mean, you see the production that the Civils produce and all this team. They're great. But the great thing is they're all behind here wearing Fightzone t-shirts, and they're all like part of the game. And you know, the setup.
And I've never seen that before, because in always, you know, when I've been around the fights, you have your little groups, and they stick together and they don't go near the camps. Where, you know, after a show with Fightzone, everybody's together. You know, it doesn't matter if you're your opponent or whatever. You're still.
I don't know what it says about us. So, to be honest,
no, but everybody's together. It's you know, it's a great team. It's a great team to be part of. And, you know, and also, you know, you've got to think about, this is the team that's taking professional boxing and fighters round the country every week.
Well, you know what to do. You've got to get involved in this Fightzone project. These two fellas couldn't be more excited. So this is what you've got to do to subscribe to Fightzone. So there it is. It is that simple. But this has been In the Zone. Thanks to all the fighters, Dennis, Glenn, that have joined us here. And of course, the show goes on. It's on the road. Just subscribe. It's all you got to do. Thanks. Good night.